morning, you wake up, if there's a storm, it could be rocks on the road, you might have to turn around, go all the way back on 92 and fight all that traffic. So it's safe, reliable transportation. You know, I have to give Caltrans a lot of credit, probably also the residents on the coast side that really pushed for this tunnel, that it's not just a tunnel, it really is a work of art. And you can see that by all the faux rock. It's really a beautiful thing that I think we should all be proud of. The finished product, I think, certainly was worth all the years. And I think the opportunity to have a park on the old road is going to be another great opportunity. So, you know, people will still be able to see the views of I think, one of the finest parts of the California coast. But it'll take us a little while, probably about a year, for us to actually get that park ready for people to be able to traverse it, walk it, bicycles, skateboard, rollerblades, whatever. but this, in the meantime, this is, I just walked through it. It's fabulous, straight shot right through. Remarkable, it's a remarkable project. A lot of anticipation about this. We've had a Devil's Slide task force with people from Half Moon Bay, from Pacifica, from Mid-Coast, as well as Caltrans, and we've kind of walked through this project step by step. I think that Devil's Slide task force made it a bit better project, but we were certainly excited about the fruition of all of our efforts as well as Caltrans. And I have to say, I think they've done a great job. They were really easy to work with, good to work with, and I think it's really a testament to the fortitude of both the citizens, local government, and what we were able to accomplish working together.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to try to get started. Certainly, this is quite the day and quite the festivities, and I really appreciate everybody coming out. This project has been a long time in the making, and we have a lot of people to thank for their contribution to this project. And we have some very special guests to say a few comments. One thing that I do want to do is there are also a lot of elected officials and people who made contributions to this project from the local community. And if you'll bear with me, I do want to run through some names of very important people. Hopefully we can hold our applause to the end, but I would like them, as I mentioned them, to raise their hand and at least be acknowledged, because this is really a local project. It's a very important project statewide. It's a very important project, you'll hear in a minute, for even the Federal Highway Administration, but very much important locally here. And there's a lot of local representatives that I want to make sure that we acknowledge. Behind me is California Transportation Commissioner Jim Gilmetti, and I'd like to acknowledge him representing the California Transportation Commission. We also have MTC Commissioner Doreen Jacopini. We have the CEO of Pacifica Chamber of Commerce, Courtney Conlon. Also CEO Half Moon Bay Chamber of Commerce, Sharice McHugh. President-elect Treasurer of the Pacifica Chamber of Commerce, Cheryl Yos. Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Pacifica, Marianne Neihart. San Mateo County Supervisor, Warren Slocum. President of the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 261, Raymond Hernandez. Vice Mayor of the City of Half Moon Bay, John Mueller. Council Member, City of Half Moon Bay, Naomi Patridge. Council Member, City of Half Moon Bay, Marina Fraser. Council Member, City of Half Moon Bay, Alan Alifano. Council Member, City of Menlo Park, Kirsten Keith. City Manager, City of South San Francisco, Barry Nagel. Shamrock Ranch property owner, Dana and Pete Denman. Council Member, City of Pacifica, Mike O'Neill. Public Works Director, City Engineer, City of Pacifica, Van Ocampo. Councilmember City of Pacifica Sue DeGray. Councilmember City of Pacifica Karen Irvin. Mid-Coast Community Council Ed Carter. Treasurer Mid-Coast Community Council Len Erickson. Mid-Coast Community Council Dan Haggerty. Mid-Coast Community Council Bill Kehoe. Vice Chair of the Mid-Coast Community Council Lisa Ketchum. And Chair Mid-Coast Community Council Laura Stein. And this project has a long history and timeline, so I'd also like to introduce the former Mayor of Pacifica, Julie Lenzel. California Coastal Commission, Mark Delaplane. Chief North County Fire District, Matt Lucet. California Coastal Commission, Linda Lachlan. San Mateo County Parks Commission, Neil Morellis. National Park Service Superintendent, Frank Dean. California Coastal Commission, Tammy Grove. One of a very important partner for us at Caltrans is the California Highway Patrol, and I'd like to introduce Chief Teresa Becker and Assistant Chief CHP Paul Fontana. Also the Director of Samtrans Transportation Authority, Joe Hurley. And I also know that former Caltrans District 4 Director Harry Yahata is also here. And so I don't forget, let me also introduce our current District 4 Director, Bijan Sartipi, who's also here. A member of the Samtrans Board of Directors, Shirley Harris. Council member of the City of Millbrae, Wayne Lee. The Director of the North Coast Community Water District, Ron Ash. And globally, let me thank the Half Moon Bay and Pacifica Midcoast Tunnelistas. I don't know where they're at, but they're here somewhere. We have plenty of speakers. Thank you for indulging me in doing that. This project actually obviously has a lot of contributors, and I wanted to try to cover as many people as we possibly could. I never try to dare Mother Nature, because Mother Nature always wins, and I don't know if this is us winning or throwing up the white flag to Mother Nature by building the tunnel, but it's been a long time in the making, and I very much appreciate that we're here and that you're here to help us celebrate this monumental day. I want to thank our contractors. Kiewit Construction constructed the tunnel portion of the project. And prior to that, Disney Construction did a very fine job on the structures to the north of the tunnel. So there are several other contractors in addition to those two that did a lot of work for us. There's more than the two contractors. Just a couple of statistics. These tunnels are the first tunnels we've opened up in the state of California in 50 years. Once they open tomorrow morning, they will be the longest tunnels that we manage at about 3/4 of a mile long, 4,200 feet. Contractors pulled 420,000 cubic yards of rock and dirt out of these tunnels, which is about 21,000 truckloads, to put it into perspective. So with that, I'm going to move on to our very distinguished list of speakers so that they can say a few words. Our first speaker has served the people of California for about 3 decades as a county supervisor, a state assembly member, and as a state senator, and now she represents the 14th Congressional District. Please help me and has played a key part in Measure T. Please help me welcome Congresswoman Jackie Speier.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. There are many people that were introduced, but we forgot a couple that I at least have seen. So I want to say thanks also to Supervisors Adrian Tissier and Dave Pine, who are also here. So ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed a happy ending to a fairy tale that could have turned into a sci-fi. This is a story of road, rocks, the frog, and the fog. A story of the princess who kisses the red-legged frog, and the bypass turns into a tunnel. And this tunnel is California's latest Golden Gate Bridge. It's the transportation improvement that nearly everyone said couldn't be done. Well, we're here to tell you that March is also Women's History Month, so at this point, I want us to put our hands together and recognize 4 women who literally made history by getting this tunnel on the ballot, into the national budget, and into this mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Lenny Roberts, Zoe Kirsten Tucker, April Vargas, and Senator Barbara Boxer. And of course, let us absolutely take note and remember our late Congressman Tom Lantos, for whom this tunnel is named. This tunnel is paid for entirely by the taxpayers of this country through the federal government. And we thank Congressman Tom Lantos for the $50 million he was able to extract from the federal government early on. And then Senator Barbara Boxer, as you know, was successful in getting the site declared a permanent emergency on behalf of all of us. And we want to acknowledge in particular Tom Lantos's wife, Annette Lantos, who is here with her daughter to recognize this extraordinary day. And as Annette said, no sooner had Tom got elected in 1981 that within a month or two of getting elected, this issue was first and foremost the very first project he took up as a member of Congress. So I think this is a monument to the fact that people do win over. People can make the system work and work better. We're here because of this $429 million funding, but it's also a new California landmark, a safe passageway along California's spectacular coastline. Soon we'll have a new hiking and biking trail on the old roadway. Pacific is going to get a gigantic tourist attraction, and you folks better have a shuttle ready to bring so that people can now walk along this magnificent coastal trail that is going to be here in perpetuity for everyone. And for my wonderful constituents in Montera and on the coast, you will have what you've longed for, peace of mind, knowing that you can get from your homes to work each day, and in case of emergencies, not be fearful that the road will be closed. You know, I got into this issue in the very early 80s when I was a brand new spanking county supervisor. But, you know, it goes back in time, as I was reminded. Tom Casey, who was our county council, cut his teeth on this issue when Caltrans was going to move forward with its project in the early 70s, and the Sierra Club filed a lawsuit. And it was Tom Casey, who was clerking the court judge at the time, that then spent the next 30 or 40 years of his life on this issue as well. So we have had many alternatives. We had the Martini Creek alternative. We had the preferred alternative. We had the marine disposal alternative. And then I guess it was, God love her, Ollie Mayer, who dug up her old proposals and made it a reality again to think about the tunnel. So I was delighted when Ted Lempert, who is here as well today, brought together a group of people to look at the ability to make this happen. And then, of course, the community came together with Measure T that I was enthusiastically supporting. And then the voters of this great county by 74% said, Caltrans, do it our way. So, you know, it sometimes is said that this generation just hasn't really done enough. But I'm here to say we've done a lot. And to my millennial kids and the X and Y generation, we can say that since the 1989 earthquake, there's a lot that's happened in this region. We've had all of the roadways retrofitted. We've had hospitals and schools retrofitted. We've had a new bridge along the Bay Bridge area built so that we can be safe as well. And the result is this tunnel is also part of that great legacy that will be there for future generations. So today we stand here looking at our latest accomplishment, a Golden Gate Bridge of the South, a beauty that only the dreamers imagined, and a testament to the power of the ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, we think of this tunnel's fairy tale story of the road, the rocks, the frog, and the fog, and a truly happy ending. So we're gathered here today to celebrate the irony and to learn the lesson that tunnel vision is sometimes the biggest, broadest vision of them all. It's really a thrill to be here, to see this come to fruition and to see so many of the people that made it happen here with big smiles on their faces saying, think tunnel, got tunnel. So I have two presentations to make, one to you, Mr. Dougherty, to the California Department of Transportation. Congratulations on completion of the Tom Lantos Tunnel at Devil's Slide. These beautiful engineering marvels will provide safe, reliable transportation for generations yet to come. The tunnels are reminders of the fragility and beauty of California's coast. Roadways may slide and rocks may fall, but the determination of the people of California to protect the environment is now forever carved in stone.
Thank you very much.
And then if Zoe and Lenny and April can come forward to the Citizens Alliance for the Tunnel. Congratulations on completion of the Tom Lantos tunnels at Devil's Slide. The vision conceived through Measure T is now a reality. Never doubt the ability of a small group of determined citizens to make the world a better place in which to live. Job well done.
Brava. All of you made it happen, so thank all of you. To the people.
Someone grab this. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for being here and helping us mark this day. Our next speaker, a 10-year veteran of the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors and a 20-year veteran of Congress. Her leadership also helped secure tunnel funding in Congress, and she has been a fierce and tireless advocate for the coast, and we are grateful that she is also able to join us. Please welcome Congresswoman Eshoo.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you very much. Thank you, Malcolm, and good morning, everyone. It's a great privilege, and it's an exciting day. It's a historic day, not only for the people of San Mateo County, the people of California, and the people of our country as well. I want to begin by acknowledging the presence of two Annette Lantoses who grace this occasion with their presence here, with the tunnel being named after our late colleague Tom Lantos, who secured the original funding to build a tunnel here on the coast side. At that time, it was $25 million. So to the senior Annette Lantos, to the junior Annette, thank you for being here with us. Thank you very, very much. We are a people of the Bay. We identify ourselves with the water, and certainly coastsiders are blessed with the Pacific. But the mighty Pacific has been claiming the land where we are for decades and decades and decades. And there have been tragedies that have occurred here. There have been collapses. There have been closures. There have been rocks. There's been a lot of tumbling around about how to fix what Mother Nature was doing to this area. And so today we celebrate something that is truly historic. The first tunnel in 50 years built by the state of California. I want to acknowledge all of the workers, the Caltrans workers, the contractors, the individuals that did all of the hauling, and the human hands, the American hands that built this. Job well done, all American workers. I want to pay tribute to the engineers and their ingenuity. This is American ingenuity that we are celebrating today as well. And the unswerving advocates of the tunnelistas, as was stated by Malcolm Doherty. All of those yellow and black signs that are out there. I was proud to be an original co-sponsor of the Devil's Slide Tunnel Act in the Congress in 1997. And I want to thank all of my Bay Area colleagues. One person cannot secure these funds. And as Jackie said, these are all federal tax dollars coming home to have built what will be celebrated and appreciated by generations to come. And then it was the people of San Mateo County who provided a landslide in their own right with the vote in 1996 for Measure T, led by Zoe Kirstein Tucker and all the tunnelistas, their vision for what could be. And I want to thank Caltrans for getting the message then. I remember when I first went to the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor John Ward said, we need to go to Sacramento to meet with Caltrans. And it was Birch Bachtold that I met with, and he set it down and said in no uncertain language, that road is going to be built. That's how I started out at the board. He was one tough character. But it's wonderful to see the cooperation. And I can't name all of the people, but the boards of supervisors, former members, present members, the state delegation, both in the Assembly and the State Senate, and certainly the Bay Area delegation, together with our United States senators, and the people, all coming together. What it says to me is that democracy has worked, and that people's voices were heard, finally, and that all came together to bring this day into fruition. So God bless all of the people that made this day possible. I think that future generations will appreciate that we, in our day and our time, did something noble and good, not only for this area, not only for coastsiders, but for the people of our state and the people around the country and around the world that come to see this environmental wonder will appreciate what has been accomplished. What an honor to share this day with you. Thank you to all of you.
Wow. I guess they've had enough.
Sorry.
I know.
Jeffrey Schaub from KCBS apologized.
Oh my God.
So good. We'll take care of it now. That's good. Caltrans.
That was a slight intermission. Thank you, Congresswoman, for being here and representing the importance of this event. The next speaker we have is representing the state of California as the Acting Secretary for Business, Transportation, and Housing, and is somebody I work with very closely. Please help me welcome Brian Kelly.
Good morning. Thank you. Let me ask you, what do you think? What do you think? Pretty good. Pretty good. This is a renaissance time in the Bay Area, really, for infrastructure. Congresswoman Spear mentioned it a moment ago, but this is the first of really the big three projects this year that will open in the Bay Area. You have this today. Shortly, we're going to open the new San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge, and shortly thereafter, we'll open another tunnel in the East Bay, the Caldecott, the fourth floor of the Caldecott Tunnel. So it's really a great time for important infrastructure and safety improvements in this region, and I'm thrilled to be here today on behalf of the Governor and the state of California. Also, as mentioned earlier today, projects of this magnitude and this scope, they require one thing to get done, and that is a partnership. We fund transportation projects up and down this state, and we build projects like this really based on a partnership involving the federal government, the state government, and all of you at the local level. And that's how this project was done, and that's how we do everything else. So on behalf of the governor and the state, I really want to take a moment to express our appreciation for our leaders in Congress, our state legislature, and all of our local and federal partners. Without your support, this project would not have been possible. So thank you very much for participating in that important partnership. Obviously, Devil's Slide is an enormous undertaking in very, very difficult terrain. Human ingenuity, strong will, perseverance, and certainly sensitivity combined to get this project done. These new tunnels are state-of-the-art structures that blend well in this beautiful and natural surrounding along Highway 1. I just want to spend a moment to say thank you very much to the hard work of the men and women who dedicated themselves to complete this project. Motorists and emergency workers will now have a safer journey from this day forward. Congratulations to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Our next speaker has served on the San Francisco School Board, the Board Supervisors, the State Assembly, and now currently in the State Senate. Please help me welcome State Senator Leland Yee.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. With the history that was talked about by both Anna and Jackie, I'm not going to repeat that, and frankly, I don't even know that history. I am truly a newbie representing San Mateo, and I will tell you that I only play a small part in that particular history. I think there was a mention about Harry Yahata, who used to be the district manager for this particular area of Department of Transportation, and he was a rather frugal individual. Where's Bijan? Bijan Sartipi, however, has a tremendous largesse that you cannot believe. And so when I was a newly minted assembly member, I was warned about the people of San Mateo. Just do not stand in their way. And so, as a newly minted assembly member, the tunnel had a little problem. It needed a little bit more land. Now, Harry would never ask me for more land, but Bijan is just shameless. He says, we need more land, you better give us more land, or else we're not gonna build that tunnel, and you're gonna have to explain that. And so some way, somehow, we worked it out, and the land was there. And then I get a call from Tom Lantos and said, well, since you kind of already, sort of dipped into the water, you might as well jump in and get some more money. And so that's how I got involved in this, and it has been an expensive project for me, I will tell you. But this is an extremely important project, as I think Anna and Jackie have said so many times. This is, in fact, a tremendous access road for all of us in the coast side. And now the benefits of having an ancillary road that is available for people to bike and walk and to really understand and appreciate the goodness, the generosity of what is available here for everyone is something to behold. And so I wanted to say again, thank you for allowing me to be a little bit part of this particular history. I also have a resolution that the Senate put together, and this is to honor Tom Lantos. He was such a tremendous force in my life, in my career, in representing this area, and I constantly am reminded about Tom's graciousness and forthrightness in representing all of us, that I ask that the Senate would in fact honor Tom by calling this the Tom Lantos Tunnel at Devil's Slides. Thank you very, very much.
Give it to Annette.
I can introduce her when she comes up.
Yeah. Good for you, Annette.
Thank you, Senator. I don't know if my level of respect for Bijan went up or down after that story. Next, we have a man who served in the San Mateo County as a mayor, county supervisor, and state assembly, and is now also currently in the state Senate. Please help me welcome Senator Jerry Hill.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Thank you, Malcolm. What an honor it is today. Everyone's kind of referenced history and kind of the historic day today is and how significant that is. And I know in a little while we'll be treated to some historic vehicles who will be coming through, which will be coming through the tunnel. And I think it's really wonderful that we see as this is the first day for safe and sure travel through these beautiful rugged mountains. But you know, when you look at history and kind of the significance of that, that's not new, trying to get around these mountains. And you know, just a short ways further inland from here in the fall of 1769, scouts for the expedition led by Gaspar, and Bijan was there too, I know he was. Trying to figure out a way to get around it. But the scouts for the expedition led by Gaspar de Portola trekked up the hills northeast of San Pedro Valley to the area we now know as Sweeney Ridge. From there, those scouts and soon afterward visited and saw the city of San Francisco and San Francisco Bay, which wasn't a city as yet. But for the explorers of that vista, it was a reward for a long and sometimes frustrating journey. And perhaps many of us may view the opening of these tunnels today as that same long and frustrating journey. And in another interesting echo to the past, it took Portola 2 hours to travel on a very poor road up this mountain to reach Sweeney Ridge. And it was not much easier traversing San Pedro Mountain in the 19th century. You know, there were some enterprising souls then that actually had chutes that they constructed that would go around the mountain so they could take goods from one side at the high and drop them down to the other side. Or they would put piers to try and get around the mountain, piers dug into the side that they could walk along to take goods and merchandise from one side to the other. So what may come as a surprise to many, we are not today celebrating the opening of the first tunnel either. There's a tunnel in 1907 when the Ocean Shore Railroad constructed the first tunnel through these mountains, just north of here, through which the train passed for a very short time. So for decades, modern engineers were challenged to make the journey through these mountains safe. As we all knew in 1995, when this became the world's largest cul-de-sac, which created quite a problem for many of us. And the history has been so adequately stated so far. But the closures that we've seen in the past certainly built the momentum. So we owe much to the early visitors to California and to the modern day champions of this region who brought it to this point. And it's no coincidence that Tom Lantos, the namesake of the tunnels that we proudly opened today, was also one of the leaders in Congress to preserve Sweeney Ridge and to make it a part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. So today's grand opening of the Tom Lantos tunnels is as much a tribute to the revered United States representative for this community as it is for everyone who helped complete this important project. Thank you to all of you for that hard work and what we have today.
Nicely done, Jerry.
Thank you, Senators. We appreciate you both being here. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce one of our newest state legislators. Kevin Mullen was elected to the State Assembly just this past November and has worked as a mayor and council member of the city of San Francisco. Please help me welcome Assemblymember Mullen.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. As much as Leland says he's the newbie, I really am the rookie on the speaker list today. So as such, I will be very brief. Let me just say that I've only represented this area in the State Assembly for 3 months, and we have a balanced budget in Sacramento, and the Devil's Slide Tunnel has opened. So, so I think I'll just quit while I'm ahead. But I do indeed have a deep appreciation for the history of this project. My first assignment as a junior field representative in the office of then Assemblywoman Jackie Spear in 1994 was to staff a Devil's Slide working group, so I got my indoctrination early to the challenges of Devil's Slide. And my late step-grandmother, Dolores Mullen, was an active participant in those battles and ruffled a few feathers along the way, as I understand it. But let me thank the many public officials who provided leadership over the decades, Lenny Roberts and Zoe Kirstein Tucker and other passionate advocates, Caltrans for your commitment to the project once the voters of San Mateo County passed Measure T, the men and women who built this tunnel, and the people of the county themselves. As Lenny says, this is the people's tunnel. In writing about our state of California, the great author Joan Didion wrote, "California is the place where things better work, because here beneath our immense bleached sky is where we run out of continent." We stand today, quite literally, on the edge of a continent, and this magnificent achievement is an example of how things do indeed work when people find consensus and labor in common purpose. It is an honor to be here today, and on behalf of the residents of the 22nd Assembly District, as well as my colleague Assembly Rich Gordon and his 24th Assembly District, and the many current and future beneficiaries of past leadership and advocacy, let me simply say thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember. And Richard Gordon, Assemblymember Gordon, was also mentioned, and he very much wanted to be here. I believe he's actually out of the country, but he also played an early role. And actually, he has sent a message for us that we're going to be able to play right now. Hopefully this will work.
This is Rich Gordon, and I'm very sorry that I cannot be with you today. In 1997, when I was running for the very first time for the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors, I said in a campaign promise that if elected, I would guarantee that this tunnel was built in 2 years. Well, the tunnel's been built, so I've kept part of my promise. I want to thank all of those who brought us to this day. Let me start with the leaders in our environmental community who had a different vision, said no to a bypass, and brought forward the concept of a tunnel. I want to thank our political leaders, especially Tom Lantos, who brought forth the original concept of declaring this area an emergency. And I want to thank Senator Barbara Boxer. She put 2 words in the federal transportation law that impacted this project tremendously. She declared this area a continuing and ongoing federal emergency. Without that language, we would not have been able to secure the funding to get us to this point. And I also want to thank all of the folks at Caltrans. And in particular, I want to thank Skip Sacco, who has served for the last decade as project manager of this activity. Skip was an incredible partner during hours and hours of public meetings that we held as we worked on design, the environmental impact report, and the coastal development permit. Skip, congratulations on a job well done. Finally, I want to thank the people of the San Mateo County Coastside. You have endured for far too long the ravages of this area and the storms that have brought this particular piece of roadway down. Today, you get a secure, safe, reliable means of getting back and forth to your homes and to your businesses. So to all, congratulations. It's a great day. Again, I'm sorry I can't be with you, but know that I'm there in spirit. My best.
I spoke to Assemblymember Gordon just last week, and he expressed his apologies for not being here, and I certainly will pass on our appreciation for those words. The next individual I would very much like you to be nice to. One, he's a heck of a guy. Two, he paid for all of this. From the Federal Highway Administration, please help me welcome Vince Mamano.
Now I don't have a whole lot of hair on my head, and if I'd known I could have phoned in my presentation, I'd have done that, all right? And saved it, and a little bit of taxpayer money. So, you're right there. No, I have a great speech prepared, and usually I'll throw that away because it was wonderful, I'm sure. But I think what I want everybody to recognize is the leadership that's involved here. And I don't think everybody realizes the impact nationally and internationally. There are people that come from all over the world to come and see this space. And a quote that was given to me a little bit earlier today was, "Build a tunnel in an earthquake zone? Really?" And then the comment after that was, it was never, "We don't think we can do it. It was, "Yeah, we're just going to figure out how to build a tunnel in an earthquake zone." And I think that's what's very important here. I think the leadership that Caltrans has, the transportation community here in California, everybody needs to realize that people from all over the world, not just the country, because I know there have been people from all over the country that have come here to see how do you do this. And you need to take credit yourselves, because it's not just how do you drill a hole, how do you do all of that. It's also how do you work with the community? How do you get two communities, all the communities that are around here, to work together to get something of this magnitude done? How do you get it in legislation from an emergency relief program, the same program that's dealing with Hurricane Sandy on the East Coast, a program that's given over almost $1 billion in the last 7 years to California? How do you make all that work in one spot? And that's just leadership. And I want to commend Caltrans and all of you on your leadership in this. And on behalf of Victor Mendez, congratulations for a job well done. It's a beautiful tunnel. There's so many things to it. If you take time to really look around, you see all the magnificent things that are going on. So congratulations to all of you. And as our administrator, Victor Mendez, would say, please buckle up, put your cell phones away, and drive safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Both Senator Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein were mentioned earlier. I know that they wish that they could be here, but Senator Boxer did send a representative who has a presentation to make. Please help me welcome Joshua Quigley.
Well, thank you all, and I'll be brief, and I'll start with an apology as well. Senator Boxer really did want to be here today just to see the completion of this project, but she did ask me to come and deliver a short message from her, which I'll just read now. Dear friends, I send my warmest greetings as you gathered today to celebrate the long-awaited opening of the Tom Lantos tunnels at Devil's Slide. I only wish that I could be there in person to thank everyone who made this exciting day possible. Because of decades of work by so many, including Caltrans, the Federal Highway Administration, and the San Mateo County community, we will finally end the lengthy closures of Highway 1 that have isolated communities, extended commutes, and harmed the tourism that is vital to the California coast. The Tom Lantos tunnels will permanently solve this problem while protecting the environment and respecting the natural beauty of the San Mateo County coastline. I'm also pleased that the former stretch of Highway 1 will be used as an extension of the California Coastal Trail, enabling residents and visitors to safely and fully experience the beautiful coastline, which is truly one of California's treasures. I was proud to work with my colleague and friend, the late Congressman Tom Lantos, to secure federal funding for this project, and it is a fitting tribute to his dedication and his legacy that the tunnels are named in his honor. These tunnels stand as a monument to the hard work and incredible skill of all the men and women who labored for years to make this project a reality, and they are yet another example of the remarkable progress that Californians can make when we put our hearts, minds, and hands together. Sincerely, United States Senator Barbara Boxer. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joshua, and please express our appreciation to Senator Boxer for all her hard work. And I also know that Senator Dianne Feinstein's representative, Jessica Hartzell, is here as well, representing. So please help me give her a round of applause, too. Our next speaker, his contribution to the Bay Area transportation system has gone on for years. Last month, Amy Reinworth was elected as the chair of Metropolitan Transportation Commission, where she has been a namesake. She also sits on the boards of both the Contra Costa County Transportation Authority, Contra Costa County Connection Transit Authority, and finally as mayor of Olinda. Please help me welcome Mayor Amy Reinworth.
Thank you, Malcolm. It is such an honor as chairman of MTC to be here. I'm also joined by my colleague and former chair, Adrian Tissier, and Doreen Jacopini, who joined together in congratulating the entire community for this accomplishment. I had the fortune of growing up on the West Coast, so every single summer of my life, my mother would take us from Los Angeles to Oregon and Oregon to Los Angeles on Highway 1. It was her favorite route, and I grew to love this roadway and this beautiful, unique scenery. And I think it's truly fitting that this is a partnership of the federal, state, regional, and local governments to achieve these goals, because you all, through your tenacity in the local communities, have preserved a treasure for not only the people of California and the country, but of the world. So thank you very much, and I know this wouldn't have happened without our tremendous leadership in Congress. And when Lenny Roberts spoke at the ribbon cutting, she mentioned as a child growing up in Orinda, and as you know, we've been working for the last 20 years to make another safe tunnel on the eastern side of the bay. But she said she remembered when their father finally was able to go through a tunnel and get to work in a safe, reliable way. And I think the work that you all have done here will enable people to enjoy this corridor, whether it's working or recreating in a safe, reliable way. So in addition to expressing MTC's gratitude to the engineers and construction workers who worked on the tunnel and bridges, as well as to the family of the great late Tom Lantos, whose true dedication brought the funding for this project, I also want to thank the coastside residents and businesses who advocated so passionately, persistently, and so effectively for a safe, enduring solution to the travel challenges along Highway 1. And you all who have waited so patiently for this day to arrive. You know, the opening of new tunnels reflects the Bay Area's commitment to maintaining and sustaining a transportation system that works for all the members of our region. And not just making Highway 1 remains a viable route for San Mateo residents for generations to come, but for the people of the state and the people of the nation and the people of the world that come here to visit. It's also about keeping our highway system, our transit systems, and even the streets and roads in front of your homes reliable and safe. So by maintaining and sustaining our transportation system, we can accomplish our other important regional goals of improving safety, increasing reliability, reducing emissions, and enhancing livability in the Bay Area. And these are precisely the goals accomplished by the opening of the Devil's Slide tunnels. Safer and more reliable travel, reduced emissions, and improved livability for coastside residents and visitors alike. So on behalf of the staff and commissioners of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, it is my great pleasure to say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Amy. Our next speaker has devoted his life to public safety and public service. He's worked as a teacher, a police officer, under sheriff's deputy, and then ultimately as sheriff. In 2010, he was elected to the Board of Supervisors, for which he now serves as the board president and as a member of the San Mateo County Transportation Authority. Please help me welcome Supervisor Don Horsley.
Thank you. I have to say I'm frozen stiff back there. Well, and my teeth are chattering. So. Well, I was going to say this is really a perfect example of people coming together, getting government to come up with really a great solution. And this tunnel is really a testament to the people on the coast side as well as San Mateo County. And what turned out to be initially just a $50 million project is now almost, well, $436 million. And you're gonna, when you go through this tunnel, you're going to see what that that money has brought us. As the introduction mentioned, I was a former Pacifica police officer and a longtime sheriff, lived on the coast side. I well know the treacherous road of Devil's Slide. At the same time, I have to admit that I love the views of the California coast. And to me, this is the most beautiful part of San Mateo County and the entire coastline in California. So I'm really excited both about the tunnel, about the safe and secure transportation it provides, but at the same time, the county will be embarking on creating the old road as the Devil's Slide Park. What I want to thank, though, quickly, not only Tom Lantos and his widow Annette, and all of the tunnelistas and all the people who have worked in this, as well as Caltrans and the tunnelistas, but I also want to talk about the Devil's Slide Task Force. I originally got involved with it when I was a sheriff. I had a brief hiatus, and I came back once I was on the Board of Supervisors. And I have to say that Caltrans has been incredibly good to work with. So I want to thank the Coastal Conservancy, the Coastal Commission, the Mid-Coast Community Council, Caltrans, Pacifica, the City of Pacifica, the City of Half Moon Bay, as well as the Chambers of Commerce of both Pacifica and Half Moon Bay. They worked tirelessly on this, preparing both today, and we also did a lot in terms of pedestrian safety. And so some of the traffic lights you see back there were things that I pushed 7 years ago. Caltrans eventually put them in. They'll make it much safer once we actually have the park on the other side, so that people are able to access that in a safe way. And eventually we will in fact have the Green Valley Trail to make it possible to not only bike and to hike here as well. So it's going to be a great for both Mid-Coast, for Pacifica, and it's going to bind those two communities together in a way that it hasn't been in the past. It's going to be a remarkable achievement for this entire county, and I want to thank all of you and all of the people from Caltrans, as well as all the construction people, and it's going to be fabulous when we see all those old cars drive by here. I'm not as old as some of them, but I might be in some cases. Have a great day.
Our next two speakers represent two of the communities that this tunnel means so much to, and I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your patience. It was mentioned earlier that this is the People's Tunnel. This is really your tunnel, and I want to thank you for all of your hard work to get to this point. The first person I would like to introduce is the mayor of Half Moon Bay, Rick Kowalczyk.
So the Half Moon Bay Chamber of Commerce wanted me to remind everybody that just a few miles south of here, it's 77 degrees and sunny. So on behalf of the City of Half Moon Bay, I'm really thrilled to be here to celebrate the long-awaited opening of the Tom Lantos Tunnel. This is a big deal for our community. It's a big deal for Pacifica, and we appreciate all the effort from the tunnelistas and all of the elected officials to make this happen today. It really helps our community. The opening of the tunnels is significant for the entire coast side. Half Moon Bay is a wonderful place to live, a wonderful place to work, a wonderful place to visit. And with the tunnel now, it'll be safer, more convenient, more reliable to get there. So, for us, if you're living in Half Moon Bay and working up in the city and you're traveling every day, or you're traveling down to visit our community, we're just really thrilled that we can do that in a safer way, a more convenient way, and a more reliable way. And it just works well for all of us. So I'll be brief, cut it short, and just say thank you again for everybody, and let's enjoy this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And next I would like to introduce the Mayor of Pacifica, Mayor Len Stone.
On behalf of everyone that didn't dress appropriately, I'll keep this short. It's my great honor today to be representing Pacifica on this historic day. This tunnel means so much to our community, and this tunnel means that during those El Nino winters, our businesses and our commuters and the people that live here can rest assured that the road is actually going to be here when we wake up in the morning. And I think I can safely speak for all Pacificans, which, if you know Pacifica politics, is not generally advised, but I can say, I think I'm on firm ground in saying, hallelujah, this day is finally here. Thank you. I grew up in El Granada, and growing up on the coast side, you always knew the status of the slide. And, you know, every winter you'd wonder if this was going to be the winter it gave out or not, and or if the next storm was going to cause a lengthy closure. And thank goodness today hopefully is the day that we know that that's not going to happen again. Pacifica is extremely excited about Devil's Slide Community Park, or County Park, that Don Horsley mentioned. And this park is going to offer one of the most stunning views of the Pacific Ocean in the world. And I know the Chamber of Commerce and the city of Pacifica are extremely excited about what that can bring as far as tourism and ecotourism to our community. I wanted to turn back the clock for just 1 second. When I first heard about this project, I was mountain biking down the Montera side of Montera Mountain in 1995. And a friend and I had stopped for water, and there's a group of people they were talking about the proposed bypass in the direction that it was coming down. It was right where we had mountain biked down, and I later learned that those are tunnel advocates. And at that time, I was 15 years old.
All right.
Sorry. Now you're 18. You talked about the newbies, sorry. But I wanted to talk about my perspective being younger and not really involved in the day-to-day on that. But so when I learned I had the opportunity to speak, I just wanted to speak for a second, not as the mayor of Pacifica, but as a member of the next generation of people who care about our city and our county and our coast. And just the story of this tunnel, for me, is really inspiring. You know, where the group of concerned citizens turned advocates, fought for what they believed in. And, you know, I just wanted to thank all the advocates today for leading with passion and vision and purpose. And I think so often we think that leadership now is, you know, it's a position or it's a title, but it's not, it's an action. And I just wanted to thank all of you for your action and your leadership. And thank you for your contribution to this. And thank you for the preservation of Montera Mountain as well. Thank you.
Now I want to properly introduce the next speaker that we have. When Congressman Tom Lantos left us in 2008, his work was not forgotten here in California and not on a national or international stage. As a representative in Washington for almost 30 years, some of his earliest efforts were devoted to this project. It is altogether fitting that these new tunnels be named in his memory, and we regret that he is not able to be here to celebrate this occasion with us. However, his life partner, Mrs. Annette Lantos, is here with us, as well as their daughter Annette, and I also know that their granddaughter Shantae is also here. So Congressman Lantos and Mrs. Lantos are great American heroes, champions of human rights and the world over, and distinguished public servants. So please help me provide a warm welcome for Mrs. Annette Lantos.
There. Thank you. Well, it's a great joy to me to be here, to witness this great moment that we have waited for well over a generation. It's also very sad for me to be here without my husband. I wish Tom was standing by my side, but I know he's watching us. And he's pleased to see that his efforts and his dedication to his community, and especially to this particular project, has finally been realized. When we first came to Congress, Tom, in 1980, Tom had to work very hard. He was a junior member of Congress, and to get the initial funding of $51 million was not an easy undertaking, but it was his first major project that he accomplished right after he was elected. And right now we are bearing the fruits of it, and I'm very grateful for that. He persisted, and here we are. I just hope that from some perspective he's watching us. I know that our children and our grandchildren will have the wonderful convenience of this beautiful new tunnel, and they will have the luxury of taking it for granted. Hopefully they will do other things, other great things that we have not yet dreamed of, and as an appreciation for what we have done for them. Thank you for putting Tom's name on this tunnel. He was a great man. And this tunnel is a wonderful representation of his determination to improve the lives of those he cared for. He would be so happy to know that it bears his name. Thank you very much. Beautiful. My daughter wants to say a few words.
Beautiful girl. Stand next to Annette. Stand next to her. Well, my mom made it through. I was sort of the backup, just in case she couldn't. And I will say we are deeply, deeply moved. My name is Annette Lantos Tillemann-Dick, and yes, it is a good morning. It is a wonderful moment to celebrate the fruits of patience, cooperation, and vision that is represented by the Tom Lantos tunnels. On behalf of the Lantos family, and that includes all those in my father's office and the many, many beloved friends who became our family when my parents moved here to the Bay Area in 1950. They had very little family left. And we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for choosing to name this magnificent structure, this amazing achievement of so many people after my father, Tom Lantos, who ardently loved this heavenly spot of earth and wanted to help preserve it and improve it. What a powerful witness this tunnel is to the determination of those who persisted in pushing for a passage that preserved the beauty of this place and created a safe, efficient, exciting, and reliable connection to the city and the other parts of the peninsula. Though the motorists may miss the gorgeous vistas, they won't miss the closures and they won't miss the dangers. And thanks are due to so many, to the citizen warriors who truly carried on and sallied forth. My parents know your names and they talk about you. Both of them did to me. To the great representatives in Congress who have carried on magnificently what my father began. 50 million sounds like a lot. Well, you know, only 400 more necessary, but whatever. And for those who labored to build and contribute to build these tunnels, and those who paid for them, which really include all the members of our great nation. My dad loved Robert Frost, and his well-worn words from The Road Less Traveled seem somehow appropriate today. Two roads diverged in the woods, in the mountains, and I took the one less traveled on, and that has made all the difference. This has been a road of respect, endurance, creativity, and commitment. May it be one that we all work to follow. Thank you so much.
For some reason, I don't think I need to introduce the next speaker, and I also expect that she's going to be very popular. Please help me welcome Zoe Kirsten Tucker.
Ooh, wow, what a day. Well, here in San Mateo County, we're known for mobilizing on behalf of Mother Nature. And in 1995, boy, did Mother Nature mobilize us. That was the year our Highway 1, our lifeline, collapsed and was closed for months and months and months. And we knew it was now or never. The project at hand, the inland bypass, promised as much environmental destruction as traffic relief. Our political leadership at the time was unwilling to pursue any alternative to that bypass. It had no stomach for battling angry motorists and business owners whose businesses were suffering as a result of the road closure. It took an uprising of the people to think tunnel, to vote tunnel, to build tunnel, and today, at last, to open tunnel. These are the people, the tunnelistas, who are responsible for our being here today. So right now, I want all you rabble-rousers, you activists, you crusaders to stand up right now and show your colors. All of you. Stay standing. These are the people who elected their officials, who tabled in front of Safeway, who created computer graphics, who collected signatures, circulated petitions, built models, computer graphics, and yes, even a website in 1996. We painted yard signs, we made phone calls, we never stopped. We continued to campaign. These are the people. You sat down. Wait. Who stayed the course and refused to never ever be stopped. You are the people who would not give up until this mountain was safe. You deserve the credit for this fine celebration today. So I ask all of you to join me in thanking these citizen activists. Now, for every tunnelista here today, there are 4 or 5 others who also share credit. First among them is our beloved Ollie Mayer. I'm very sad to say that Ollie passed away just 5 days ago after a full life of public service and almost half a century of leadership and hard work to save her beloved Montera Mountain. I know she's with us here today, grinning from ear to ear. We're honored that these tunnels are named for the late Congressman Tom Lantos, whose tireless efforts, along with Senator Barbara Boxer and our other fine elected representatives, led to the funding of this project. Others have spoken of this extraordinary man, and quite simply, there would be no tunnel without his efforts. No doubt he's here with us as well today. However, there would have been no tunnel project if it hadn't been for the effort of the people who knew the right thing to do and who fought so hard for it. So in my mind, in Lenny Roberts' mind, in the mind of tunnelistas everywhere, this is and will always be the people's tunnel. The people's tunnel, not just for those of us who envisioned it and fought for it, but for future generations who will marvel at the engineering feat we celebrate today. As graceful and inspiring as any road anywhere in the world. Caltrans, aren't you glad we made you build this? But most of all, this campaign has been for our children, who love and treasure these precious resources as much as we do. The open spaces, the agricultural land, the parks. And we'll enjoy them forever now and know that we valued them enough to fight this epic battle and to see it through to the end. So I thank you today to all the people who built the tunnel, who paid for it, and who made it beautiful. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, the citizen activists, who had the courage to make this much more than a dream. You made it a reality. Hooray, it's the People's Tunnel. We did it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Very well said. Thank all of you for all of your efforts. Thank you for your patience while we went through this. And finally, the tunnel is here and it will be opened very shortly.
Yeah, Mark.
Oh wow, look at that monstrosity. Oh my God.
No, this came. Congresswoman Anna Eshoo. Anna Eshoo was on.
That's Anna, that's
The new first.